Hello and welcome to YourPedia. My name is Aman Sharma and I am your mentor for CSC at YourPedia. So today we'll be covering a allied subject that is mentioned in ISRO notification. So the subject that we are doing today is software engineering, and the topic that we have selected is software development cycle. Now the question that can arise from this part of the topic is that they can ask you which of the following is the part of software development cycle, which is the most they can ask you what is the third step of software development cycle. Now when they ask you which of this is a part of software development cycle, then you need to remember all this and you have to tick that. The tough question can be at which stage this comes in. Like when they can ask you design part in the software development cycle comes at which stage. Does it come at third stage or fourth stage or fifth stage? So answer would be third stage. So in order to you just need to remember what software development cycle is, and you need to remember all the phases, and in order to remember those easily, you should know what we do in these phases. So software development cycle, first phase is planning. Then we will plan about the software, then we will analyze. Third is design, implementation, testing, and then maintenance. So we'll see how these things work. So first is planning and requirement analysis. In this, it is the most important and fundamental stage of software development life cycle, performed by the senior members of the team with input from the customer, sales. Now they will take input from the customers, they will take the input from the sales department, from market surveys and domain experts, that what is the need of today, what type of software will be required for this need, how we can fulfill their need depending on the surveys, the results that they get. Now this information is used to plan a basic project approach. After that, planning for quality assurance requirements and identification of risk associated with the project is also done. So what you need to do is quality assurance requirements and identification of the risks. What are the risks that this software can face? What are the challenges that it will face? What are the competitors of this software that we are going to design? Is it viable to go with this software, or you should go with some other software development? These all things are done in the planning and requirement analysis. Next is defining requirements. Now when the project is selected that this is the software project we are going to do, so they will ask, once the requirement of analysis, next step is to clarify, to clearly define, document the product requirements and get them approved from the customer or the market analytics. Now they will ask, give some kind of form which will have some details. Now you have to, or the consumer has to fill those details in order to tell the company that this is the requirement, this is the software requirement I need, these are the features I need in this software. These are all done in the second stage. So it is done through SRS, Software Requirement Specification Document. So the name of the document is Software Requirement Specification. It is done in the requirements, which is second part of the software development life cycle. So it consists all the product requirements, what you need in your software, that need to be designed and developed during the life cycle. So you will tell them that if you are a banking company, you will tell them that this software I need for this work, this is the amount of this is the number of users that you can expect will be logging into this device or logging into in this software. Depending on those, they will design the software for, but first they will need the requirements. What are the requirements of the software and what features the consumer need in the software, so the customer need in the software. Now next is designing and product architecture. So after they have got the requirements, they will start designing the architecture, like what will be the best architecture for that software that has been asked by the customer. So they will design 3 or 4 different type of architecture depending on the requirements, and they will be done by multiple experts. They will design their own architecture, and then those designs will be fed to the senior members of the company, and then they will finalize one design that this is the design which is best suitable for our product according to the requirements given by the customer. So SRS is the reference for product architect to come up with the best architecture for the product to be development based on the requirements specified in the SRS. So usually more than one design approach for the product is proposed. So proposed and documented. So the design, that architecture that is designed is documented in DDS, design document specification. So you need to remember these also, SRS and DDS. This DDS review is done by all important stakeholders and based on various parameters. Now they will make the risk assessments that this architecture can, will not be able to handle these type of risks. These architecture will not be able to handle that type of risk. So depending on those risk assessments, product robustness, like how design modularity, budget and time constraint. Now if you are giving an architecture design which requires a lot of time, and the time frame that is given to you by the customer is 1 month, then you cannot pursue that architecture. So you have to keep that in mind also. Then again, budget, what is the budget of the in what budget you have to design and complete that project. Depending on that, best design approach is selected for the product. A design approach clearly defines all the architecture modules of the product along with the communication and data flow representation with an external and third party modules, like if that app is going to interact with some other apps or not, like Zomato is apps like Zomato and Swiggy, they can interact with, if you are living in a society, they can interact with MyGate application. So you need to, if in some device you have MyGate application and you have Zomato application, so what happens is, you might have noticed it, that in Zomato, when the delivery guy starts from the shop and starts moving towards your house, MyGate will automatically retrieve that data from Zomato and will ask you for the pre-approval of the entry. So this is how these apps connect in between. So these things you also have to keep in mind, that whether it is going to interact with third party modules or not. The internal design of all modules or proposed architecture should be clearly defined with the minutes of the minutest of the details in DDS. Now the fourth stage is building and developing the project. Now after you have collected the requirements, after collecting the requirements, you have designed the architecture. Now this is the time to build the product. So in this stage of the actual development starts and the product is built. The programming code is generated as per the DDS. If design is performed in a detailed and organized manner, code generation can be accomplished without much hassle. So our design that we have selected, the architecture, if it is performed in detailed and organized manner, code will be easy. Developer must follow the coding guideline defined by the organization. Different high-level programming languages such as C, C++, PHP are used for coding. Programming language is chosen with the type of software being developed. So it is also necessary to see what type of software or product you need. Depending on that, you will select which language is best for your software. After that, when the software is completed, then you will enter the testing phase. You will test the product with various different situations. In that, you will give different type of test cases. You will run the product on different test cases in order to check the robustness of the product. So when after you are running these test cases, when you find some defects where product defects are reported, then they will be tracked, fixed, and then again it will be retested until you will continue retesting it until you have reached the efficiency that is required by the customer. Now after that, last stage is deployment in market and maintenance. So deployment in market and maintenance means that you will deploy the project into the market. So this is done in two ways. First is in parts. In parts, what do? We will deploy the project the product first may be released in a limited segment and testing in the real business environment. So you will not give the product to each and every customer, you will give the product to some limited segment, and then you will see what are the real time results of it, and if there are any corrections needed to be made in that product, that will be done there. Then based on the feedback, the product may be released as it is or with suggested enhancement in the targeting marketing. So if after releasing the project, you find that when the consumer were using this, there is some glitch in that, or they were finding this type of user interface a little difficult, you can do minute tweaks into it in order to fulfill the customer needs. After the product is released in market, its maintenance is done for the existing consumer base. After that, whenever there is a glitch or whenever there is an issue, you have to maintain that project for the customer. So these are the 6 states of software development cycle: planning, analysis, design, implementation. So you will plan, then you will analyze what are the requirements, then you will design an architecture for it, then you will implement the project, then you test that project, and then you will deploy it and maintain the project. So I hope you understood this video. Topics like these will be covered in our module which we have launched for ISRO, and I hope you like this video. So for more interesting videos like this, keep watching and keep preparing. Thank you.